Hello and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Matt.
I'm Winnie.
And today we are talking about a story. And I know the title of the story. It's Rip Van Winkle. Okay, so what do you think this story will be about based on that?
I have no idea, but the last name Winkle kind of gives it a very fantasy sort of feel to it. So I think something fantastical is bound to happen.
Winkle gives you a fantastic feel.
I picture fairies and fairy dust.
Oh, okay. Well, that's far different from what I was thinking.
Ooh, what were you thinking?
Well, first I read like rip, so maybe, rip is to like tear, something to rip something, but in this case, there's a rip and a van.
So we know that it's a name, maybe, right?
I was thinking that someone ripped like a van, someone's driving a van, and maybe they ripped their t-shirt.
Oh, like a superhero rips something, okay.
Yeah, and then winkle, I was thinking, I don't know what a winkle is, so I don't know that word. But I do know what it does to wink, to close one eye, to wink. And then I know sometimes as you get older, you get wrinkles, the lines on your face. So maybe if you're always winking, you'll get some winkles around one of your eyes.
Suddenly just got very dry in here.
Oh, well, anyway, I'm looking forward to finding out how this guy or lady rips her clothing in a van while winking too much. And we'll find out after this.
Rip Van Winkle lives with his family on a small farm. He's a friendly man. However, he's also lazy and avoids doing any work.
Welcome back. Now, let's get into our story called Rip Van Winkle.
Very good. So the story starts off. Rip Van Winkle lives with his family on a small farm. Well, I guess we have our answer there.
Okay, so Rip Van Winkle, I guess, is in fact a person. And even though we see it as maybe looks like three names, Rip Van Winkle, we could say Rip is his first name, his given name, whereas Van Winkle together is his family name or surname. And we have two words because this is a Dutch name, so from the Netherlands. And you often see names from the Netherlands with this van before the other word.
Right.
And this means from. So from a long time ago when we were, selecting surnames, we could say someone is from a place as their surname. So we could know that Rip Van Winkle's family once came from a place called Winkle.
Right. So where have we heard Van from before? We have heard very famous names like Vincent van Gogh, right?
That's right. It's a very famous person with this word van in his name.
Exactly. So we definitely know that Rip Van Winkle is a person.
Okay. And we also know now that he lives with his family on a small farm. So a farm is a place, a piece of land, and the buildings on that piece of land that are for growing things to eat. So whether that be crops like corn or rice or vegetables, or for growing animals, livestock, meaning animals that are grown to be made into food to be eaten.
Yeah, or milk, maybe.
That's right, or
used
cows. For other things like producing milk from cows. That's a farm. So he lives on a farm, and there are many animals you might find on a farm. You might find cows, pigs, sheep, chickens, many different kinds of animals. Continuing with the story, he's a friendly man. However, he's also lazy and avoids doing any work.
Okay, so we know that Rip Van Winkle is a friendly man. So what does friendly mean? Friendly means, you know, they always have a smile on their face. They're always nice to people, even if they don't know the people. So they're very approachable. They're easy to be friends with. But in the story, we see, however, he's also lazy. Okay, so what does lazy mean? Lazy means you're unwilling to work or use effort. Now, on a farm, is that good to have a lazy person?
No, I think you would think someone living on a farm can't be lazy because there are so many things to do on a farm. You need to wake up bright and early and make sure the animals are fed and healthy. And you need to water the plants or pick the plants.
Yeah.
There's so many things to do.
Yeah.
But Rip Van Winkle avoids doing any work. So I don't know who is doing his work because he avoids it. And to avoid something means to stay away from something, to try to not get close to something, or in this case, try not to do something.
Right. Would you say you're a lazy person?
I would say sometimes I'm a little bit lazy. You know, I don't work that long, but I do a lot of exercise after work, and I have some other work I do at home.
Right. I think we all have our lazy moments, but for a farmer, that is especially weird to have someone lazy because there's just too much to do on a farm. I can't wait to continue with the story and see what happens to this lazy farmer.
Let's see.
One day, Rip goes hunting in the mountains with his dog. He meets a stranger in old Dutch clothes. The man gets Rip to help him carry his keg to a special spot. There, other men like the stranger are playing a game. Soon, they stop and fill their cups from the keg. Then, Rip tries the drink, and after several cups, he falls asleep.
Welcome back. So to recap our Rip Van Winkle story, we finally know that Rip Van Winkle is in fact a person, and he is actually a farmer. And not only is he a farmer, is he a good one?
Well, he lives on a farm. We don't know if he's a farmer because he's
That's
very
true.
lazy. So if he's lazy, he probably doesn't do a lot of farm work. So I don't know if he can be called a farmer.
That is true. Even if he was a farmer, I'm pretty sure his farm wouldn't be very productive, knowing that he's a very lazy man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens to this lazy farmer. One day, Rip goes hunting in the mountains with his dog. That's not a very lazy thing to do.
That's true.
He meets a stranger in old Dutch clothes.
What is that? What's Dutch?
Well, Dutch means from the Netherlands. So we have the country called Netherlands, and people or things from there are referred to as Dutch. So if it's in Dutch clothes, it's clothes from that country, from the Netherlands.
Ah, okay.
So he's going hunting in the mountains. So mountains are a piece of land that rises up from the rest of the land and is eventually much higher and goes very high above the land around it. So you might have heard of some famous mountains like Mount Fuji in Japan that can be seen from many places around it. Or maybe you've heard of Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world.
Right. Or even in Taiwan, we have Ali Mountain.
That's right. Now, when we say in the mountains, say he's hunting in the mountains, we do not mean that he went inside or he went into the mountain. We just mean that he's somewhere where there are mountains around you and you're kind of going into an area between the mountains, which you would say you are in the mountains.
Right, because obviously I don't think he has the the tools to dig into a mountain. So obviously he probably went into the mountains because there he can find some animals, right? Some animals that are not usually on land, like near his farm. So we're not talking about cows or sheep. We're talking probably, like some deer or something that's a little bit harder to find. Or so he has to go
squirrels.
Squirrel, yeah. I don't think he'll be eating for long if it was a squirrel. But, so, the word stranger just now, okay? So this is a noun, okay? And when we use the word stranger, it refers to a person who one does not know or is unfamiliar with. So, Matt, you and I, we're not strangers, right? We're friends. But if someone were to walk in that we don't know, that person would be a stranger. Yeah. So, continuing on, the man gets Rip to help him carry his keg to a special spot.
Okay.
Wow, so a stranger.
The stranger, yeah. I know when I was young, my mom told me not to talk to strangers. But clearly, Rip's mom didn't tell him this because he's just met this stranger and now he's helping him carry his keg to a special spot.
Right.
And a special spot meaning a special place or location where they are going. Now he's helping him carry a keg.
What is that?
So a keg is a round container made of wood or metal that has a flat top and bottom. So it's round around the middle and flat on the top and the bottom. And usually we'll have some kind of liquid, some kind of fluid or liquid inside. So not something solid, but something that maybe something people can drink inside the keg.
Okay.
Continuing on, other men, like the stranger, are playing a game. So there's other men, maybe in the same old Dutch clothes here, and they're playing a game. Soon they stop and fill their cups from the keg.
Interesting. Okay, continuing on. Then Rip tries the drink, and after several cups, he falls asleep. I think this is where your mom is talking about don't drink or eat random things from strangers because you just never know what is in this keg. And clearly it's something that causes Rip to fall asleep.
Right, so that's a little bit scary. He has now drank something that's caused him to fall asleep outside. He doesn't know who these strangers are. And we don't know what's going to happen to him.
I think this is kind of a recipe for disaster, but hopefully there's a happy ending.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out when we get into part 2 next time.
Rip Van Winkle lives with his family on a small farm. He's a friendly man. However, he's also lazy and avoids doing any work. One day, Rip goes hunting in the mountains with his dog. He meets a stranger in old Dutch clothes. The man gets Rip to help him carry his keg to a special spot. There, other men like the stranger are playing a game. Soon, they stop and fill their cups from the keg. Then, Rip tries the drink, and after several cups, he falls asleep.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 farm 名词农场。My father is working on the farm. 我爸爸正在农场工作。下一个单字 lazy 形容词懒散的、怠惰的。He is so lazy, he never wants to do any housework. 他太懒了，从来不愿意做家务。Housework 指的是家事、家务。下一个单字 mountain 名词山岳、高山。What is the tallest mountain in Europe? 欧洲最高峰是哪一座？最后一个单字 stranger 名词陌生人。My parents always warned me not to talk to strangers. 我父母以前总是告诫我不要和陌生人讲话。Warn 指的是警告、告诫。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 avoid 加上 VING， 避免做某件事。Avoid 是避免、避开的意思。我们来看看这个例句。Susan avoids eating seafood. Susan 避免食用海鲜。下一个文法 go 加上 VING 去做某件事，用来表示从事某活动，例如 go fishing 去钓鱼， go shopping 去购物等等。我们来看看这个例句。I go surfing twice a week. 我一周冲浪2次。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Hey Shane, are you ready for the performance at the year-end party next week?
You know, I've been practicing, but I'm still a little nervous. How about you?
Well, I'm off to a flying start. I've been rehearsing my dancing part all week. It's going really well.
A flying start? So you're gonna start the show off by flying or something? That's incredible!
Oh. Today, we're going to talk about the phrase flying start.
Okay, so what does it mean to get off to a flying start?
Flying start means to begin a race, contest, or any undertaking with a speedy or advantageous beginning.
Okay, can you give us an example?
Sure. Our team got off to a flying start, scoring 3 goals in the first 10 minutes.
So it's kind of like hitting the ground running.
Yes, they have a similar meaning, but hit the ground running usually means to start a job or project quickly and energetically without needing to spend time learning about it.
Okay, I see. So if I want to get off to a flying start on my project, I need to start working on it right away and put in a lot of effort.
Exactly. Now you got it.
Thank you, Karen. Well, that's all for today.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.